Hey everybody, it's King Kearns here, and we're going to break down that webinar that Aptera put out yesterday. So let's dive in and see what interesting things they had to say. So the first thing that they kind of talked about was their automated guided vehicles, or AGVs, from Red Viking. I thought this was pretty interesting because I actually, going into talking to them about it during my trip, I thought it was a pretty unproven, like, new production method. But after talking to them, I learned that, and looking into it myself, this is actually already being done in a lot of automotive spaces to some degree. Maybe not as much as Aptera is doing it, but to some degree they're already doing it. So it isn't an unproven concept that might bog down the production or have a lot of issues itself. It should be relatively easy to do since it's already being done. It is a proven method of production.
We've had an amazing evolving relationship with a company called Red Viking. Something that makes their products super unique is their autonomous guided vehicles that take our vehicles to be assembled around the factory floor to the different stations where they need to be assembled. They're basically robotic carts that the vehicle sits upon, and then it goes through now our currently designed 12 stations to assemble in Aptera in just under 2 hours. But the cool thing about these robots is they can be programmed for different...
So one cool thing also about these the robot carts, automatic AGVs, is that they actually used in their render here, they're actually using the building space that I got to go into. So this is actually like a CGI version of the building and the carts being used in the actual production facility that they have. So that's kind of cool. You can see
times. So in the beginning, if we're taking,
so it'll be interesting to see it when they're actually going. I hope I can get a chance to actually visit the facility
station, and then as we speed up to 15 minutes,
kind of cool to
10
see.
minutes,
But 2 hour time to make an Aptera. That's I don't know. I don't know much about production of cars, but that sounds like a pretty efficient system to me, especially starting off. So we'll see how it goes. So another thing I got to see in regards to the batteries, and they talked about it a little bit vaguely here, is that the pack design, you can see in the image here, this pack design they have is super lightweight. And the cells are actually pretty small compared, or for the size that they are. They are 21700 cells that they talk about in the video. So watch it if you want to learn more. 21700 cells. I've made battery packs with 18650 cells, which are smaller. And the packs that I saw were the same, looked relatively the same size as my 18650 packs that I've made just at home. So that's pretty impressive that they can make them that small. And I can't talk too much about it, what I saw, because they didn't talk about it here. But it was a really cool design that they had with these packs. You could see it here a little bit. So here we see that they're going with Eve Energy as their supplier for batteries with these 21700 NMC 811 cylindrical cells. I looked them up a little bit, and it does look like these cells are one of, like they're saying, one of the most energy dense cells. They are extremely energy dense, and Eve is making them very lightweight as well. I'm curious at how they're going to perform, because I do think these are relatively new cells. It looks like they're pretty new cells, so hopefully they have good performance and they work out as intended. Here you can see their website, and you can actually go and check out their lithium ion rechargeable batteries. Here they're 18615 and 21700 cells. I couldn't find the 811 NMC cells anywhere, but you can look at their existing batteries and see kind of what they are able to accomplish right now with what they have. I think these are new cells being made for Aptera, so that's kind of interesting as well. During the charging section of the webinar, they talked about how they want to use the Tesla standard because it's more sleek, better looking, just a more elegant design of a charger was the word they used, instead of using like the Chatamo and the J1772 type standards. They're really hoping to use that Tesla standard. Now, from all I've seen, the Tesla standard is still proprietary, so it belongs to Tesla, so I'm not sure how they're going to get permission to use this charger, or if they're going to be able to get permission to use this charger. So I wonder, I'm curious what they're going to do if they can't get permission to use the charger, the Tesla standard charger. All right, here they talk about the chassis, so let's hear what they have to say.
The team that we have, I think we have a picture of them out at our test track. They spent a week out in the desert doing some amazing testing. You see the vehicle here; it's got sensors all over it to tell G-force and movement of the wheels, and basically trying to break everything on the Aptera. You know, they were out doing skid pad tests. They were doing that thing where like whoop-de-whoop side to side. And the most fascinating thing, and you'll see in the picture here, the front tire is flat on the Aptera, because they were doing a 45-degree curb strike. So basically you drive really fast to a curb at a 45-degree angle, and it pops your tires. But what you're really testing is how does the rest of the suspension handle those loads? How does your wheel handle the load? How does the wheel motor handle the load? How does the upper and lower control arm handle the load? How do the bushings handle the load? And we passed with flying colors, I think.
So if we go back, so they beat this car up, this beta car, they beat it up at this test track, and they told me about the same things that he talked about, what they were doing, the 45-degree curb strikes, really like trying to break the car, and it got beat up, which is, I mean, I guess they were working it really hard, so it makes sense. In my last video, you saw I got to do a little quick test ride in the beta vehicle. It had just gotten back, so I'm pretty amazed that they got it back in working order so quickly. Like they know what they're doing, getting these vehicles back up and running so they can continue testing and do more tests. So I was happy they got it fixed. I was also pretty impressed that from this to what I got to ride in. So then they talked about the wheel covers to some extent. They didn't quite show us how to take the wheel covers on and off yet. I think they're going to show us that in the future, relatively soon, hopefully. I did get some insight into that, and it is going to be really easy, I believe, from what they told me, to take it on and off. So I can't wait till they show us an actual working demonstration of that. But what he did talk about is it had on each side 20 millimeters thick ethylene vinyl acetate. So think about like the material on those old like foam flip-flops. That's kind of what the material is on there, but their own mix of that material, so probably not the same as a flip-flop, I would imagine, but pretty thick piece of that, and that stuff's pretty hard, like foam filling material. So I think that's gonna work okay. Hopefully it can take a good impact, so testing on that will be interesting to see. And then they also simulated the new design under different at different speeds and vibrations, or simulating the vibrations going to feel at different speeds to make sure there's none of that wobble in the wheel pants. And from the video, if you go and watch it, you can see actually that wobble in action, and they say that it performed within their standards, what they wanted it to meet, and that you really only get that crazy wobble once it reaches speeds of like 225 miles per hour, which the car's not going to because it only hits 110. So they talked about the body control and how they're going to control the different parts of the vehicle. So let's watch it. What they have to say about that.
Vehicle uses, and we're able to do that through a unique architecture that we've developed called the POU, Point of Use Controller, and they're very small, low-cost, simple controllers that we've developed that we sprinkle around the vehicle, so to speak, and they handle the loads of sensors, lights, switches, relays, things like that locally, so that we're not routing big wiring harnesses and lots of connectors all over the vehicle. So the net result is the wiring harness is smaller, it weighs less, and it has fewer connectors and connection points. So it's one of the things that help us deliver on efficiency.
So what they're saying here is that they have a main computer like most cars have, but instead of sending wires all over the place just from that main computer, they have smaller point of use controllers, these little guys here all over, that actually control specific functions. So you only have to send 3 wires to these guys from the main computer all over, and those can be relatively small wires. I believe you can see in the low voltage test bench, if you could watch the video right after this, they show you the low voltage test bench, in action, where you can actually see a lot of these point of use controllers on that table, and you can see just the 3 wires going to them. When they were explaining this to me during my visit, they said it was kind of like an octopus. So you have the main computer, the head of the octopus, and if you know anything about octopi, whatever the plural is, each one of their arms can work kind of independently. They have their own like sub-brain systems. And so it's like an octopus. You have the main computer, which would be the head of the octopus, and then these are all the arms of the octopus that can also do functions on their own and think on their own. They have their own kind of processing power amongst them. And copper weighs a lot, so if you can reduce the copper, you reduce the weight of the vehicle, which makes it more efficient. That's what they're going for. And if you watch this little section here, you'll see I made a little cameo.
Above it, you can see that we have a rear view mirror.
That's me.
With our video feed live from behind.
From my visit. I watched them record that part. Just a little cool subsection, but yeah, that was me. So I feel like solar is the big part of this vehicle. That's like the unique thing about this vehicle. It's already pretty cool because it's cheap, super efficient. Even if it was just an EV, it would still be a cool EV, but I think solar is what really sets it apart from other EVs. So let's see what they have to say about the solar progress they've made.
When you're a solar electric vehicle company, it's not surprising that one of the largest part of your technical endeavors is going to be solar. And so to that end, Anuj and his solar team is one of the largest single group of engineers here at the company. And I think it's the largest single IP generating group. I think there's about 50 patents either filed or in play just with solar alone.
That's their solar test mule, just so you guys know. That is actually one of their, they said they were making a bunch of beta vehicles, and then they ended up only making one, and they had all these like beta modules or components instead of making a bunch of full vehicles, and then they're going to throw all those beta subunits that they've kind of worked out into the Gamma vehicle. This is, I think, one of their like beta units. So they were testing a lot of their solar on this kind of test mule chassis. And so they have made all these like patents and stuff. So they're actually building this panel system from the ground up. Like this hasn't been done before, which I think is, oh, that's a cool little image in the back, which I think is really cool because this vehicle has solar needs that aren't in the market today. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of efficiency they can actually get, because during the day the sun moves and the curved body isn't going to get direct sunlight all the time. Some panels are going to get some more during different parts of the day. So I wonder what the actual power that you'll see coming into the battery is, but only time will tell when we get real world data, real world tests. Here they talk about the Gamma vehicle, and because they're showing it, I can tell you a little bit more about what I saw when I saw it in VR. I got to actually kind of see this in virtual reality. I got to stick my head inside, actually sit in the seat because of virtual reality. Pretty cool. So I'm going to break this down a little bit. So they have this like mesh system. Somebody in the comments or somewhere said, how am I going to stick my drink in there if it's already opened? It's just like a mesh. I bet you I could even make a working prototype of that. It literally holds your drink in place inside the cup holder. So any size drink. My biggest issue in my Ford Focus is I love to drink Red Bulls, and Red Bulls are very skinny. And so inside my cup holder, it has a system for holding like different size cups. It doesn't work for Red Bulls because they're too small. So this thing I think will actually be able to hold my Red Bull. So when I take a corner or I accelerate a little too fast, because it's an Aptera, right? It has that 3.5 second 0 to 60. Hopefully the Red Bull will actually stay where it's supposed to be and not flip out. The second thing I want you guys to look at here, and I'll try and zoom in, is that this is the phone. There's a phone in here. It's holding a phone. So I think your phone's going to go in there. And I told the team, the marketing team, so they may already have this planned. I don't know. But I told the marketing team, I was like, that would be really cool if there was a wireless charger in there. You slip your phone in and your phone charges while it's there. So I'm hoping that happens. That's a cool little thing that I saw that I immediately thought, oh, wow, that would be awesome. So hopefully they do that. I don't see any AC or heaters. They did tell me about how it's going to work, but because they didn't show it, I can't tell you anything. I'm still under NDA. So they do have it figured out, though. Do not fear. Heat and air, or the climate control system is, they have something figured out. So it's not missing. They didn't forget about it. You're just going to have to wait till they tell you about it. Those headrests look good. The seats look good. I actually like those headrests a lot. I don't know. I hope that thing feels comfy. It looks comfy, but I hope it feels comfy. And then I also got to see it in VR. Some people were asking me in the last video, well, one person was asking me what VR headset they used. And so they had just an Oculus Quest, just what I have here at home. It's the same VR I have. It'll probably work with any VR headset, though. I'm going to be honest with you. Once their software works or they send it out, if they ever give you a chance to look at it, I don't know if they have plans to send that out or not. You'll be able to do it. Also, I hope they put this car in video games. We got the new Forza coming out, Project Cars, lots of different automotive games where prototype vehicles or vehicles that aren't out yet do get to be a part of it. So I hope because they have this virtual model and they have all the data, I'm hoping they can get this into some video games. I would love to drive the Aptera before it comes out in the new Forza. So they gave us some good updates. I think that'll hold some of us over until the next round of updates, or at least until Gamma comes out in a month or two. Hopefully. Until then, we're just gonna have to make do with this 3D model they gave us. Thank you all for watching. Until next time, take it easy.